Howdy and welcome back to another live coding video. I know I just published one of these Wednesday, but for me it's been over a week since I've touched this code, so I'm trying to get back into a good schedule with these. And as you can see, it is 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning. I spent the whole week working on and editing the bind group video, which should be coming out, I hope Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. But I figured I might as well do some practical coding and try to use some of those skills today. So what I'm actually passionate about is something that I have already kind of done. Let me get it running to show what I want to do. So I have this demo where I can do materials and I can move these campfires around and make them bigger or smaller. And I know this is not a campfire, it's a palm tree, but this is as far as I wanted to get in my own. And I can move all of these independently. I can add more of them. Let me move the new one, make it bigger. Yeah, and I can remove them. So this is kind of what I want to get to today. So I have example code here. That's my testing project for the shader video. And I think it's going to fit very well because we're going to be using concepts that we don't use in the bind group video. We're going to be using storages, which is the one type of bind group I opted not to show. So this should be a nice addition. So I'm going to add a file called campfire graphics, I guess. Sure. And what we're going to try to do, I guess let me show off in game. Oh, we don't have the campfire crafting recipe anymore. So it's step 1, add that back. And we're going to try to be able to place a campfire and maybe get a day-night cycle. So we already have it in the item type enum, I think. Let's see. Item type. Campfire. Oh, it's just called fire. And so what we need to do is go to assets, crafting recipes, and add a recipe. I'll just copy the entry. This takes, let's say, just a wood. Actually, for testing, I wonder if I can take nothing and get away with just fire. Oh, nice. That works. I wish I could shrink that. That's still a bit big and non-deterministic, but for today it will work. And I actually don't know if I'm going to be placing the campfire in this video or just writing the infrastructure code to support it, because that's a whole separate problem of setting this as a type of a structure that can be placed and not go into your inventory. So we might look at that, but for now let's use Bevy Prelude. And, oh wow, it's actually been so long since I've done this. Let's create a plugin, which would be a pub strut campfire graphics. Let's just call it fire graphics, because this will also work for torches, I hope. And remember, our end goal is to make something that's similar to Don't Starve for now. At some point, I'm sure we'll stop just stealing a concept, but it's nice to not have to worry about game design when we're just trying to focus on implementing systems. And so I want to impl plugin for this. And I want to add it to main, which would be mod fire graphics. And we add the plugin here, which is called Fire Graphics Plugin, I hope. Fire Graphics Plugin. Wonder if so I keep doing, what is this called, like Hungarian notation, where I put the word plugin at the end because it's a plugin. I wonder if that's actually a practice worth continuing. Cool. This should compile Fire graphics plugin, fire graphics plugin. Oh, and the prelude. Sure. Use crate fire graphics. Pub use fire graphics plugin. I'm thinking. Hold on. Do I want all the plugins in the prelude? I guess it doesn't hurt anything. Probably not, though. And this would be fire graphics. I don't know. I want to evaluate and keep this relatively minimal. Okay, so we have that. We have to add it as a plugin. Sorry if you hear me putting down my coffee mug. It's early morning, so I'm trying to drink coffee and get woke up. Madeline's out for a morning run, so she'll be back in a few hours. And at that point, I'll probably take a break and go say good morning to her. So now what do we want to do? I want to make the fire, like, overlay be a resource, I think. I guess it's an entity. I guess I want a resource for all active campfires. So let's make a strut active fires. It's just going to be like 2D point lights for now. Oh, I also wanted to consider, if I have the Bevy engine code here, they have their GPU point lights, or they have point lights, and I wonder if we could just use those. Probably not for a 2D game, but it would be interesting to evaluate. So active fires here is going to be a resource, containing all active fires. Sure. That's a redundant comment. And this is going to have fires, which would be a vec of fire. Sure. And we need a strut, which is a fire, which is going to have position in 2D, and strength, which is just going to be a float. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And let's do a strut fire material, which needs, I guess, just the active fires, right? Active fires underscore. Just gonna be active fires. So this is a lot of nothing. I really should write the code before I start creating all these types. But I have some structure in mind that I'm going for. So my theory is we're going to be able to place fires, and every time a fire is placed, we'll add it to the array, or removed, we'll add it to the array using a changed system. And then every time this resource is changed, we'll create a new material. And I think that's what we're going to go with. So I want to impl material 2D for fire material, which needs, is that actually in Sprite? That's unfortunate. Sure. So we have material 2D, which needs all of this. And let me get all of this render stuff. Bevy render, I just need all of it. Okay. And I need to implement render asset. Ooh. Not what I want yet. So I guess I just have to type it. There's no hotkey. render asset for fire material. And we'll get those default functions. What? Did I just import that? Why? Whatever. Let me actually, before we start making a giant mess, what did I find I could do? Render resource star. It's actually what I want. Okay. So for the extracted asset, we're going to make that the same as our material, I think. And then extract asset, we'll just return a clone to it. So let's do self.clone. And that means this needs to derive clone. And it probably needs this to derive clone, which needs this to derive clone. Okay, what are you upset about? We need the UUID stuff, which, let me get a type UUID open. And this is how we do that. On the material only. And the UUID, we're going to grab live net and generate a version 4. There we go. And we do pound UUID equals that nonsense. Put that back over there. Sorry if I'm not talking enough. I never know what the correct amount to talk about during these is, but this is all what we did in the first shader video. So we now have asset implemented because Material 2D requires asset. And what are you all upset about? I need to return. Whatever. I actually like to clean these up. So I think I can just do prepared asset. Maybe. There's a more descriptive name. And can I just do bind group here? Consider using static lifetime. Ah, well, fair enough. Prepared asset. Alright, we'll do that at the end when it's time to make this more readable. Okay. And so now, next would be, let's do the bind group layout. So we have our render device, and we want to call create bind group layout, and we need to give it a bind group layout descriptor. So I have 4 steps that I do that I think I show in the bind group video. I do actually. I'm editing that now. Where step 1 is we create the material. Then step 2, we add an entry to the bind group layout descriptor. Then step 3, we'll add an entry to the bind group, or we'll create the bind group. And then step 4, we'll add it to the shader. So I'm going to try to follow those steps, but we also have to do the boilerplate stuff, which I've been told we won't have to do in the future. So the bind group layout descriptor needs a label and entries. So label none might be interesting to play around with a proper graphics debugger, but that's not something I actually have done too much, except when I tried to do Vulkan in C++. So I have the tools installed and I've opened them, but I can't say I'm competent with them. Let's just get this mess compiling. There needs to probably be an ampersand here. Okay, what are you upset about? A lot of stuff. Expected. Oh, ampersand here. Okay, bind group. Let's return prepared asset, which is material dot bind group. And let's create fire material GPU, which will have the bind group and will be the prepared asset. Okay, so here prepared asset is now going to be fire material GPU, and we return its bind group. Oh, we return a reference to its bind group. I don't know if reference is actually the correct word in Rust. It might be borrow. I hope I'm not getting that vocab word wrong constantly. So that's all happy for now. And let's get this working. Use to create render asset. What do you mean? Have to import this? Okay, sure. Param. Let's see. What do I need for params? Probably need a render device resource. Find yes. And I'm gonna need that material 2D pipeline resource of fire material. Right? Which you just have to remember, I guess. Or look at the examples. And this will give us the bind group layout that we need. And it's added by the material 2D plugin of our type. So let's go ahead and add that. App.add plugin material 2D plugin of type fire material. I hope this video also serves as a supplement to the shader videos, because I'll be doing things live in a logical order, I hope. Let's see. And so for the people that need a slower version, hopefully this will do. Does this need a constructor? Default, sure, why not? So I'm hoping this serves two purposes of being both a live coding session where we do something interesting and serving as a supplement to the shader videos to see it all in a slower, more live format. Oh, we need to import the lifetime list variants of these. And import render device. Okay, so my import star is not working. Whatever. We can clean that up in post. And so here, let's just return okay for now. Right? You just return, oh, okay, prepared asset. So let's create the asset. So let's deconstruct this to give us the render device and the pipeline. And now a render device, not create a bind group, I think, which needs a bind group descriptor, not a bind group layout descriptor. It's going to be weird to publish this before the bind group video, but I'll try to talk through the logic. Right now we're still in the original shader video. Oh, fill strut fields. Ooh, I just learned that I can do that. So the layout needs to be the pipeline dot bind group layout, and the entries will be in nothing. Is this an ampersand? Yes. Is this an ampersand? Yeah, no. No field. Well, why not? Material 2D pipeline has a material 2D layout. Something's wrong with my tab to complete. And that creates the bind group. So let bind group equal that. And now we can create our fire material GPU. Oh, the dogs are upset. I apologize. With the bind group. You need an ampersand now. Everything in this needs ampersands. And we haven't used extracted asset because that's what we're about to use. But now, this should all compile. So let's get this testing. And let's get a shader going. So let's create a startup function, which will be spawn fire overlay, which is going to need commands. And the mesh assets, the material assets, mesh assets, which is going to be the resource of assets, the mesh type, and the material assets, which will be the resource of assets of the material type. Sorry if I'm typing loud. Is it just fire material? Sorry, I'm getting self-conscious recently. And now here, you want to spawn a quad that will cover the entire screen. Just like this is 100% one for one, exactly like the shader video so far. So, I apologize if you did not know you could skip the first 20 minutes of this video, as I type code that I've already done a video on. So we'll spawn, and then we'll do insert material 2D bundle. Oh wait, what's spawn bundle of that? Yes, beautiful. I'm using my newfound import fill struct fields. Ooh, how nice. I don't care about any of this, so we'll do .default. And material will be material assets dot add fire or graphics or fire material default, because to start there'll be no fires and it's not like we do anything with it. And here we'll do meshes dot add shape mesh from shape shape quad default for now. Okay. Well, this is very unhappy. What are you so unhappy about? Back to a semicolon. Fair enough. Alright, what do we got? So this is not meshes, this is called mesh assets. And I need to call into to convert that. Clippy, help me. Okay. I need to implement default for everything in the world. Default, default, and default. Expected mesh. Oh, not into on this. I need to call into on the mesh, because that needs to be wrapped into its weird type. Because we have mesh 2D handle, which is a wrapper, which has a from handle mesh, which is what we actually get. And you're still not happy, because I need to put parentheses around things. That's not right. What are you very unhappy with? Does this add need a parentheses? Okay. Cannot borrow as mutable. Okay, so these are adding a resource does in fact mutate them. So we'll mutate that. Mutate. Mutate. And we'll add a startup system. Which will spawn the fire overlay. Beautiful. And at 25 minutes, we have done exactly what I did in my tutorial video. Okay, that's a good material. And let's add a camera follow to it. Insert. Is it camera follower that we did last time? Wait, what are you not happy about? Do I need to use my prelude? Sure. Cool. And now we have this nice purple overlay. Okay. Quad, new. Should I just make it big? Vec2. Tile size times 100. Let's see. What are we not happy about? I need to import this. Why are you not underlined in red? Cool. Beautiful. So I am upset. That does cover the UI. Probably non-deterministically if I recompiled. So let's see if there's a way. Let's take a break from graphics and let's see if there's a way to change how the camera follow works. Just hard sets the Z value. That an offset, I guess. This is janky. You find a better way to force ordering. And let's do a default. And so this will be camera follow dot offset plus follow dot offset. Now we don't need width. We actually need data on this. And that way we can force it to be a little bit in front. Oh no, I'm punished for my sins. Oh wait, no I'm not. And this will be follow. Cool. World query. It's not satisfied. Because of implement world query. Transform in game. What am I doing wrong? Oh, ampersand. Okay. And now here, I'm going to do an offset of 1. And let's find everywhere else that doesn't compile now and make it default. And default. Probably needs to be -1. I'm realizing. And default. Cool. And you are -1. What are you not happy about? Private. Okay, can't argue with that. And let's see. Maybe it does need to be 1. Maybe this doesn't work at all. Maybe I should test things before I just recompile. Okay, 1 puts it in front of the camera. Subjects. I need to name it. Transform, yeah. So camera follower needs to be inspectable. And what is it? Add inspectable. Register inspectable. Yeah. Camera follower. Now I've really stopped talking for the past 5 minutes, which might tell me it's time to take a break and focus on drinking the coffee. But we're about to actually get to something interesting, I hope. Camera follower. There it is. -1 is not enough. -2 is enough. Why? 99.8. Let's see. Oh, because these guys have a -1 on them. Oh, how interesting. Sure, let's just do -10 and call it a day. I'm sure that won't come back to bite me. Cool. So we now have a nice overlay. Let's create a shader for it, which will be called fire overlay .wgsl. Okay, and you're gonna have to forgive me because I'm absolutely gonna cheat on WGSL. But I'll try not to. I'm trying to do these without like just reading code I've already written because I don't know, arbitrary. FN fragment shader, which we're gonna do asset server dot watch for changes. I think we probably should do this to do move to startup system in main, and let's do asset server dot load fire overlay dot wgsl. Should work. No that. Okay, what are we not happy about? This returns a handle. Specs an option to a handle. Let's wrap it in some. Beautiful. What are you not happy about? Let's just unwrap that. It would be nice to remove this on release because then we don't have to have the file watch feature, which we'll see if we actually have it by default. Crash. WGPU validation error. Okay. Unable to find entry point fragment. Can't argue with that. So what is this? Stage. Okay, whatever. There's no point in me just sitting here trying to remember. I was close. Stage fragment, function fragment. It's capital F. -in fragment, which doesn't need to take in anything, and we'll return a vec4 to location 0. Let's cheat one more time. Parentheses 0. And vec4 of float 32s. And we will return a vec4 of just something discernible for now. Okay, compiles. How am I going to do this? So you do have to specify F32 every time. Nice, there's our green. And we, unfortunately, oh, we have transparency. Cool. So now we need to punch a circle in this. So to do that, let's get back over to the intranet. Let's go to the book of shaders. And let's get a circle. Sorry if this was bright. Oh, Madeline's home, so I'm going to pause now, and I will come back in a few minutes. Okay, and I'm back. She got home from her 12-mile run, and I had to make sure everything was all good. So I'm going to try to finish up the basics of the campfire today. And I have to remember I was at like 30 minutes, so I have to do, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm just going to go until I'm done. So what we had just done was open up the book of shaders, and we were looking at the shaping functions, which I don't think is where we want to be. No. I guess I haven't shown this in the tutorials yet. But this is, oh, we don't care about color at this point. But this is where we're going to go to get some shading functions. Ah, circle. So we're just going to steal this circle code. And I guess I can show that if we change this value, we can move the center of the circle. And we have a radius that we can move. And ST, I think instead of being UVs, we're going to be able to use world coordinates. I hope. So let's see how far we can get. So first we need to make this compile, which I think means we don't do that. We don't do this. I don't know why there's underscores here. We don't do this. We do variable names before the type, and the radius here will be F32, and we're going to take in a center, which will be a vec2, and then here we'll subtract the center, and add a 0 there to make my font happy. And why do you do these underscores? I wonder what the underscore means in their notation. And now, I guess dot does work. Let's see. Do we compile? And here, this needs to just be a let statement. Oh, and we need our own smooth step, which will allow me to rant wgsl spec. The manual here. Every time I do something, I realize that more things I've said in the tutorials are just wrong, which is very upsetting, considering that I try to do as much research as I can. This version's outdated. This has a smooth step function right here, which, let's see if we can call it smooth step, capital S. Oh wait, is there a smooth step? Return does not match. Okay, maybe I am an idiot. There is a smooth step. Alright, I take back my complaint. What I was going to complain about is this function didn't exist, probably because I didn't capitalize the S, so I wrote my own. Well, that's... I guess it would be embarrassing if I had said it in the video. But I discovered it here, which is acceptable. So let's say color, variable color. Var means it can change or is mutable. Let, I think, means that it's constant. I'm trying to learn this language, but it's kind of difficult. There's not many resources on it. Which I guess means that eventually I will become one of the resources, which is a weird feeling. So let's say the color is going to be, by default, black. I think. And let's get a circle. Let's multiply. We're just going to have to do math here. And I don't think multiply equal works yet. Color, multiply equal by a circle. I guess I need to get UVs, which I'm just going to steal from my code, even though I could get it from the engine. The default vertex shader gives us this, which will be our input. Which I will do as in vertex output, and we can do in.uv. Center, we'll do vec2 0, I guess. And radius, we'll do a nice 0.15. Let's see. Yeah, multiply equal does not work in this version. Which, let's see if it should work. Times equal is a syntax token for times equal. Yeah. So from reading this manual, it does work. Yeah, look at that. So the actual version that Bevy's using is much more out of date. And I guess I could ask on the Discord what version, but it's just frustrating that things constantly not be here that should be here. And I guess if I'm doing this live, ooh, crash. So when it crashes, I just rerun it, and it just works. So multiplying the color by the circle does nothing because we're multiplying by 0, and we're not returning the color. So, circle here should return 0 at some point, correct? Which should zero out the color, which should make it black. Also, this shouldn't be transparent. It should be, yeah, it should be white. So circle here is always returning 0. Alright, I'm going to be starved for screen space. Okay, so something's wrong. Oh, because I shouldn't be using UVs because this is a giant quad. What I need to be using is world position. I think invalid does not match type. World position dot XY. Ah, look at that. That's a campfire. It'd be nice if I could pass in tile size. To do pass in tile size. Ooh, as a as a shader def, which would be interesting. So we can now draw a circle. So can we do the opposite of drawing a circle by minusing it? And now we have a campfire. Kind of. That can make pretty big. And I should be able to do multiple of these at different places in the world. Oops. Yeah, and now we have a campfire, and the player can walk over to the campfire. And it looks like I'm actually walking along the quad, but I'm not. The quad is moving with the camera, which still needs to be named, but it's moving with the player, so we're never going to like walk out of the overlay. So we have done it. Those are our campfires. It'd be nice to set the color to be black. So let's do that. What I really only want to be multiplying is the alpha. And let's actually make it just slightly transparent. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So I kind of like that. Let's add a let smoothness equal 0.5. And let's change this to be smoothness. And we can now smooth out the circles to be nice, soft, campfire looking things. Which I think actually looks really good. So now we need to actually, okay, I'm excited now. It's all starting to come together. So now we need to get these two values from the game. So we need to set up our bind groups. So for the bind group layout, this needs to be a bind group layout entry, right? What does implement default members do? Oh, Jesus, does nothing. Come on. Use structural syntax instead? That's a different implementation. So binding 0, visibility will be shader stage fragment. Fragment. Type will be something we work on in a minute. I guess I should explain, because this is coming out probably before the bind group video. So now we need to actually get data into our shader that will set up these two values. And so what we're doing here is we're setting up a bind group, which will let us put data onto the shader. And the first thing we need to do is create an entry for it. Sorry if you hear Madeline's news in the background. And so we need a binding type, which for us will be a buffer. And we're going to do a storage, because we want to have an arbitrary number of whatchamacallits, of campfires. So we need binding type to be a buffer, and this needs a type, has dynamic offset, and a min binding size. So min binding size, I think I'm going to do none, because it says it'll work it out at draw call time. Dynamic offset, I actually have no idea what that does, but if I set it's true, it crashes. So, and this is going to be type storage, and it's going to be read only. Cool. And so this is our bind group entry. At binding 0, in the fragment shader, we will have a storage, and it is not an array, is how that's read. And that's all we need to do for the entry. And now for the layout entry. And now for the bind group, we need a bind group entry, which will be a binding and a resource. Bind group entry, which will be binding 0, which is exactly the same as the layout we just set. And the entry, or the resource, I think it was called, is going to need to be a storage buffer. And so what I had found was there's a built-in type in Bevy docs, which is called buffer storage, or storage buffer. Which is a helper for storage buffer bindings, which unfortunately is not documented. But if we look at the engine and we follow GPU lights around, which seems to be the only place it's used, then we have, we can see how it's used, and I've figured most of it out. Unfortunately, it looks like some GPUs don't support storages. So I need to put a to-do that they just do a big, like, I think it's 4096 number, size uniform on GPUs that don't support buffers. And that's probably something we should mimic. So let me do a fix me support GPUs that don't support storages. See how Bevy handles GPU lights. Sure. Hello? Please release my keyboard. Thank you. So let's create a storage buffer, which is going to be a let mute storage buffer equals storage buffer default to get started. And I now have that. And I need to I need to append my values, which our extracted asset happens to have. Active fires. Maybe that's dumb. Well, no, because I want that for the resource. We'll see if that's a needless strut by the time we're at the end. So let's do storage buffer dot append extracted asset dot fires dot I'm losing my mind. Dot active fires dot fires. Okay. Why is my tab to complete just not working correct? Active fires dot fires. Sure. And we've appended that, and you probably I think you actually need. Oh wait. This needs to be able to mutate this vector, which I think I had the same problem when I did this last time, or last night, because ampersand mute. Interesting. Okay, so it just works. Because we have ownership of the asset because we've cloned it. Interesting. Okay, yeah. This should not compile yet. Oh, we need to implement STD 430, which is something I'll talk about in a minute. But this is different than the rest of uniforms, which need 140. You need to be as STD 430. Oh wait. Neither one of you actually need that. Fire needs as STD 430. and I don't know what the difference is between 430 and 140. And the person on the Discord told me that WGSL matches both of them. So I don't know how much weight I'm putting on somebody's random Discord message. But that's kind of confusing, but we'll get to that. So now the resource is going to be this guy's binding, which would be storage buffer dot binding dot unwrap, which will fail because we haven't actually allocated the buffer, because we need to do write buffer to actually put it on the GPU. So let me explain what we're doing. We create a buffer object, which will help us, and then we put all the data in, and then write buffer actually creates the GPU thing. Yeah, because it reserves a buffer on the render device, and then it queues up a write and puts it into the STD430 correct format for us. And also has this cool body that we could have, but I don't actually know what we'd use that for. And for this, we need the render queue, which who knows what that does, but we need it. In the tutorials, I try to actually understand and explain things, and stuff like this is why I decided not to do storages in the bind group video. So here's me using it live with less explanation and more hand waving. What? No material 2D. Oh, fixed. Let's import this. What do you mean? No code actions available. What are you not happy about? Cannot infer type. Why? I'm appending something specific. Do I have this problem here? Oh, okay, I just do colon fire. Why? Expected expression. Okay. I'm now just straight up stealing my previous code. Why does ampersand mute here work? Oh, because I clone it again. Sure, that's a lot of clones. Sure. Let data equal extracted asset.activeFires.clone. And then here, I can mutate it. Why does this need to mutate? I wonder. Appends values. Takes mutable. What is this? It's a vector. And then I can declare this as mutable. Redundant clone. Sure. Okay, so we don't need to clone that. That just feels weird. Rust is weird. But if you just do what it tells you, it seems to just work. So we now have our storage buffer. If you don't write, it'll crash. It'll unwrap. This will be none, because the storage buffer here has an option that doesn't get filled out. So now I think we're actually correctly putting that onto the graphics card. I think that's all we actually need to do. Which is cool. So now we actually have campfires. So let's go ahead and grab this fire strut, and let's get an array of them. into our shader, which will be in group 0 or group 1 binding 0, which is group 1 because that's where Bevy puts our layout, and binding 0 because that's what we set. And this is a vec2 of float 32s. And this language wants everything to have semicolons for some reason. And we'll have a uniform, oh wait, that's the structure, and we'll have a storage of them, which I think is var storage fires. Yes. Type fire. Don't think this is exactly accurate, but we can work from here because we need to set up it as an array. I think we're getting close. Okay, there's that. Let's slap it to the side. It's because I don't have screen space. And actually, let's do one more wrapper strut. Fires. We can clean this up in the future, but this will have fires, which is an array of fire. I think. Okay. So now, for the dangerous stuff, let num fires, which will be a usize, equal, is it array length of a pointer to. This there's actually no examples online of that I could find, but I did find in the spec here we have array length, which takes a pointer to a storage of an array. There's nowhere that I could find to easily tell me the format for this, but after enough messing about, found out you need ampersand of fires dot fires. Oh, that's horrible naming. Crash. Hard crash. Validation error. Draw command. Okay, let's first just run again. Hard crash. Why? Buffer is bound by size 12, while the shader expects 16 in group 1. So this is a problem that I actually knew existed, and I was interested to know where it would turn up in this project. I think this is a bug in Bevy, or more specifically, a bug in... I don't want to say exactly where I think the bug is, but I can get away with it by just adding a dummy variable here, which I know is wrong. But when I add that dummy variable, it makes the padding all work. So I think this STD430 is actually not the correct padding. Dogs. Yeah, I think that's the incorrect padding. So you, let me make a note here. Bug? Is this a Bevy bug with padding? And I looked, and I've done my research, so I'm ready for this rant. Here, they do, well wait, they wouldn't have it because they also have this use, so they should run into this issue. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but there's an issue with the padding here. And adding an extra dummy variable fixes it. So let me go ahead and grab this printout, because this is a different error than I saw last time I ran this. I'm shushing the dogs, but they can't hear me. So I apologize for all the background noise I have today. I actually might stop and wait for them to settle down. But I'm on a roll right now, because I just found crashes with following message when test is removed. And size 12 here, I expect 16. Tells me that something's wrong. Anyway. Yeah, that's an interesting bug. I thought people might enjoy to see it come up live. I'll put a timestamp on the video. So now we have this, and we can actually go back to writing our shader. We have the fires, and then for var I, type I32 equals 0. And here we need to compare I to num fires. We can't do plus plus. Actually, can we? And I think I want to multiply the color by world position by fires, not fires. Okay, this is a needless redundancy, but I can't figure out how to do an array here. Dot position. And the radius will be the strength. Fires dot strength. And we need to index it at I. Wow, plus equals doesn't work. Or plus plus doesn't work. How wild. And we have to cast this to integer because why can't you compare those two? Sure. Okay. And now, uh-oh. Why? Oh. Now the whole world's dark, except for this campfire, which is incredibly bright. Oh, because you can craft it. So if I picked up stuff, I'd be able to craft, which is fine. Still can put that in my hand and play the game. So now we need to actually make a campfire. Which, for the time being, let's create. Does this have in it fires? Fire material. I think this just needs to have a vec of fires. Yeah. So fires here will be a vec of fire 0.0 or vec2 splat. Why is my tab to complete tabbed completing things that aren't real? And strength will be, say, tile size. Guess we don't actually need tile size in the shader. Something's not happy. Oh, position. Doesn't have this field because it's called active fires because I'm a psychopath. Oh, well, lowercase s is correct. Oh, and test has to be 0. How cute. Or test can be anything. We'll probably just find a use for test. But here, we should have... I'm worried my keyboard's going to be too loud in this video. We have a campfire. It's really big. Do I multiply by tile size somewhere? Space this out. Why is that so big? Why is that so big? you so big? What units is this in? Probably pixels. Aren't you? Alright, let's let tile size equal something. Let tile size, I guess we don't need to do all caps in this language. Let tile size equal, and that's defined in assets. $96. And we'll do strength divided by tile size. So it's normalized. So that's a 1 tile radius campfire. Sure. And I can move it if I want. 2 times tile size over. Actually, we shouldn't need to multiply by tile size. Right? With the new coordinates, this should just be 2 tiles over. I hope. Oh man, look at that. That is truly beautiful. And then we just need to make this actually on a campfire. So let's do this times 3, actually. Looks like it already kind of works for tile size. So instead of that, what if I remove this? The camera might just do everything we need it to do. So I might be adding redundant code. Oh, the camera handles it all. Oh, we don't need tile size. Oh, blessed day. So we have campfires. So next, let's actually make it where we can put campfires. So, what we're going to do. What are we going to do to actually make it where this is campfires? I don't have a way to get mouse coordinates in world space, so I can't click on them. Let's create. So we have. Let's move all these to the top. We have this fire strut, which will be a component. And what I want to do is sneeze. Give me a second. What I'm going to do, which might be suboptimal, but we're going to recreate a new handle every time fires change, which will create the bind groups and the buffers and do a lot of needless work. But for now, I think it will be fine. And then later on, we can tie it directly into the graphics pipeline using extract and the prepare stages and do it all the correct way. But that's a bit more work and isn't something that I've done a video on yet, so I'm actually not as comfortable just typing it from memory. Shocking how much you remember when you research every single line of how something works. So let's say update fire overlay, which will look for, it's going to mutate the material assets. We need to query for the overlay, mute overlay, which will be a query for now anything with just anything with a handle to our fire asset. Yeah. Handle to fire material. I think this will work. And we want changed fires, which will be query for all the fires that have changed. Changed fire. Which should catch any fire being removed, I hope. And now for changed fire, or for fire in changed fires. How does this work? I think I need this active fires resource. Active fires, which is going to be a mutable resource for active fires. And let's add this as a resource. Init resource, active fires. Which I think just needs this. Maybe? Cool. So we have the active fires resource. And for change fires, oh, change doesn't capture remove. So we'll need a separate way to handle removed entities. I think that'll be a problem for the next video. Or pull request to do handle removed fires. See cheat book, because I remember there was a chapter on that. I guess for now, let's just get every single fire. To do, make this a change system. On change. And for now, let's just cheat. And we'll remake the material every single frame. Which is horrifying. Let firevec equal vec default. Or new, I think it is. Firevec dot push. Fire probably could do like dot collect or something, but whatever. Mutable. And then we're gonna say let overlay equal overlay dot single mute, I think. And we're going to change that handle. Say overlay equals material assets dot add fire material with active fires equal to fire spec. Wonder if this will actually work. Does this need to be an ampersand? What are you not happy about? Expected strut fire found ampersand fire. Oh, sure. Okay. Now it's when I complain about ownership if I had to guess. No. Expected strut mute found handle. Let's see. Can I dereference you? Yes. And now ownership complaint if I have to guess, because we can't take ownership of the fire. Yes. So what I need to do is just clone it. Wait, what? Mute overlay equals overlay single mute. So they're borrowing. Uh-oh. Okay, now we're in hell. But now you're not happy. So you want me to borrow this. Now it's all happy, but can I remove this nightmare? Uh-oh. I don't feel like this is going to work. But let's go with it for now. Update fire overlay. And let's just spawn a fire. Add startup system, spawn fire. And here we're just going to spawn a fire. And we'll probably make it like on space to spawn or something, but for now this will be fine. Which just needs mutable commands. And here, commands dot spawn dot insert fire. Position will be vec2 splat -5, so we'll know that we're spawning a new one. Size will be 2. Test will be 0. Strength is what I named this. Let's see. And adding this material should trigger prepare asset. So it's just print line to see if we're actually preparing new assets. Which I know we're not, because that didn't show up in the correct place. Oh, but we are in fact creating new assets. Fire is not inspectable. So changing the handle probably doesn't work the way I want it to. Expected mute found reference. Found strut handle. Mute should correctly deref into handle. I should be able to change this handle. How do I do this in my example code? Star handle. Put the star here. Oh, my poor CPU. 85%. Okay, I'm putting a star there fixed all my issues. And that's at -5. And check this out. Ooh, actually you don't need position, do you? You need to use the transform. So this component doesn't actually need position. So let's make a fire component, which will just have strength. GPU. I'm gonna regret that. Which will just have strength. And this will be derive, probably clone, and component. And here, when I spawn, I will just be spawning the strength, and I will spawn bundle, transform bundle. Transform bundle. Default. Lowercase d, default. Okay. And now this spawn fire overlay needs to fire GPU. And this fire material has an array of fire GPUs. And then, what are you not happy about? Storage buffer is of fire GPU, which is all the data we need on the GPU. And active fires will become a fire push fire GPU of fire.strength. Please let me, my poor keyboard, strength, and test being 0, and then the position we'll get from the transform. Ampersand transform. Make this a tuple, and for fire, comma, transform, and here position will become fire dot, or transform dot translation dot x, comma, transform dot translation dot y. We'll just make a new vec2 out of those. I'm sure it's a simpler way. Oh wait, it's truncate. Transform dot translation dot truncate. Okay, and then strength here. Okay, and don't paste that. Run. And now, if I go to my campfire, which I created as a transform, and when I move it, it's actually moving the campfire, which is pretty cool. And then we could do a day-night cycle or anything, but we have a little campfire. And I can show that this will support arbitrary many of these by spawning a couple, maybe at different strengths. Maybe 4 for that one. Insert name, new, fire, because I'm a lunatic. Forgot a parentheses before I did that on all of them. Okay, and let's create the name on this, which will be called overlay. Insert name, new, overlay. Forgot the parentheses again. And we have successfully created a couple of campfires, which can be moved and positioned, and I guess I could do inspectable, but I'm kind of done for today. And I can position these campfires around. And we can have as many as we want, and there's not a button to delete something, but they are positioned in world space. I can take them as far as I want. Make sure it doesn't crash if I make it just way too big. I don't think it will. Yeah, we can extend it to infinite far away. And we have campfires. So there's one major problem, which is going to be marked as a fix me, is I do not want to be creating handles every frame. So fix me, do not create handles every frame. Solve this using the same technique as the animate shader example. which I will cover in like 2 tutorials, and then we might come back and actually do that here. But for now, I am pretty happy with how that turned out. Let me change this to from XYZ, or from translation, which is going to be vec3 new 0.0 or 0.5 1.0 comma 0.0 maybe. Is it from XYZ? Transform bundle from transform. And then transform from XYZ. Maybe. Transform from XYZ. Beautiful. And we'll move this one to be opposite it. This is a big fire. Cool. And we'll do a nice day-night cycle where we can pass the time in to the shader. Yeah. We can even fade in the red channel first, because if I, let's just have some fun. I can put a like red tint on this probably. Okay, it's a little intense. But I could, maybe it needs a little blue, RGB. Why do you crash periodically? I don't know. We'll find a nice like sunset color. But we could fade in a good sunset. So that's all I'm going to do today. I hope this was somewhat informative and was a good practical example of using shaders in Bevy. And for the people who are following along on this project, I hope it was a good bonus episode. And I should get back on a weekly schedule for this project soon. So, as always, thank you for watching. I'm gonna insert the Patreon names in post, because opening files this big in my editor is a pain and it takes too long to render. So thank you to all the Patreons. GitHub links in the description, Discord links in the description, and I'll see you all next week.
Alright, y'all, thanks for getting through the end of that video. I want to give a special shout out to Solaroth, Charlie SK, and Shira Tsukamoto on patreon.com for supporting Logic projects. You too can get your name mentioned in the end of a video if you support Logic projects on patreon.com. Also, smash that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, and give that little thumbs up. Click that thumbs up button to let Logic Project know that you like this video and you want to see more content like this. Leave a comment. You might get a little heart from Logic Projects if you read your comment. And have a great day.